Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we? Good morning, Nick. Good morning, Sue. Good morning, Fran. How you doing? Oh, dear me. I swallowed my coffee the wrong way. Let's see who's on Discord. Is anybody there this morning? Good morning, Chris and Anne and Robert and Nick on Discord. Morning. Okay. Oh, lovely. Oh, that's nice. Oh, have you? Oh, lovely. Yeah. Oh, how nice. Yeah, because we're doing Yosemite Park in acrylics tomorrow afternoon, but it's more of the full range mountainous type stuff. Your kind of thing, Chris. Oh wow, wow, very hot. Mind you, I'm a bit sweltering today, to be honest. Yes, I'm on rough. I'm using the Frisk rough pad at the moment again that I used on Friday. Actually, it's not bad paper at all. Um, Frisk's a very American brand. Um, that we can. It's one of the few American things that we can get in, but it was at the time during lockdown that I couldn't get anything else in at all. So it's what I've got. So because it's a brand that people don't know, they haven't used it. So we've got a good few pads. We've got about 4 or 5 pads in stock. So I thought I'd use that one. While I'm waiting for some Langton and other things to. But our Bockingford pads are back in stock again in hot pressed, rough, and cold pressed. So that's good. Slowly getting things back in. It's just Windsor and Newton and Dale Arowney that are being really slow in sending all their stuff out to all of the stockists and suppliers. So I said I'm not sure about a tiny bit of cadmium yellow, probably not much at all. Lemon yellow, ultramarine, burnt sienna, and cadmium red, and that's about it. Now I'm going to do quite a lot of dry brushing with the rocks, really. And I will put those in. I'll put one layer in very quickly. So don't forget, this is the demo. You've got more time to do it later on if you can't keep up. So I'm going with a little bit of burnt sienna, a little bit of cadmium yellow, and a cadmium red, sorry, and a little bit of ultramarine to make a sort of purpley brown. As my first wash. Oh, that's probably too pale, Barry. What are you playing at, lad? Oh no, it's alright, but I don't think I've got enough of it. Another hot weekend, wasn't it? Too hot for me. Oh, we've had Nick was on a bike ride. Was it what day were you on a bike ride, Nick? Yesterday morning. Oh, Nick, and I found out why hardly anybody was in class yesterday morning. I hadn't put it on the Shop Happy page. Of all of the classes, all of the Sunday classes were there, but not the August one. So that's why people may presume there wasn't one, um, because of my little error. but never mind. Yeah, well, this is it, and I think a few eventually that switched on realised that it was happening, but it was a bit too late for them. But they can always watch it another time. Oh, I think that's the bit that I wanted to keep. Trying to work out which is water and which is not water. Right, so that's, let me just wash all of these bits. That might be your Wi-Fi. It's fairly sharp on my laptop that I'm watching it on, because obviously I watch the feed at the same time, live, just so I know what you're all seeing. So this is that purpley colour. I've got on here. Let me switch to a number 4 round. Yeah, we were doing a sheep painting yesterday. It was really lovely to do. I did make it look a bit too angry. I think Kevin's right, I made it a bit too miserable. Like, too annoyed at having its photograph taken, you know? I need to soften its face. So this is just a dry brush drag down the waterfall to help get the misty bits. And then I'll be mixing sort of another. Yeah, it's my internet. The town centre internet is the worst I've ever known any internet in the world, and we're in I complained to BT once, and because we're the second largest town in Oxfordshire, in North Oxfordshire, and we've got one of the worst Wi-Fi. I've got better Wi-Fi in my village than I have here. It's awful. And the well, you see, my phone is on Wi-Fi. The laptop's plugged straight into the router. Yeah, rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Right, let me do these rocks, and then I can. There's a bit more burnt sienna in some of this. A little bit of cadmium yellow, maybe, and a little bit of cadmium red. I know we haven't got Louise and Sarah this morning. They can't make it. That's probably a bit too orange, but let me put it on. I saw some lovely photos while I was trying to find some nice reference images of some of these waterfalls by at sunset, where it looks like they're on fire. It looks like there's a big torch behind them. So they look absolutely beautiful, really beautiful. So this is good dry brush practice. So if you're not very good at dry brush, now's your chance. Obviously the darks have all got to go in here, which I won't be putting in because it's waterfalls, watercolours. I'll be putting them in afterwards. But there is a sort of nice softness to these rocks. I want it fairly loose and light today. Some nice textures. My hay fever this weekend and today is shockingly horrid. Yeah. No, it's really bad. I don't normally get hay fever, but since lockdown started, it's so awful. My throat, my eyes. I feel drugged a lot of the time. It's bizarre when I wake up in the morning, or when I, fall asleep on the settee downstairs. Oh, I've gone again. I'm back again. I think I'm back. I just can't stay awake. I feel like I've had my drinks laced or something. Go a little bit more orange with some of these rocks towards the front. So as you know, it's all about layering. Layering is king. We're putting some darker bits in here anyway to emphasise which rock is which. This is a bit of cad red, cad yellow and burnt sienna. It's sort of a terracotta-y colour, I suppose, really, but I'm trying to lighten it a fraction because it's a bit too vivid with my paint. And then if you add a bit more of the cad yellow, you get a bit more of a yellow ochre colour, which is sort of in the lower parts of the rocks. There's some beautiful colours in this. And if I was feeling a bit more brave on a Monday morning, I'd make it quite purple, in fact. I think it would look beautiful purple. But the darks I'm going to definitely make purple in this. But it's looking a bit like a waterfall. And we haven't got any of the darks on, so I'm not hating this yet. Yes, there's plenty of time for me to hate it, I imagine. I think I will do some. Oh, I ought to put the greens on. I think I'm going to get annoyed if I don't put the green, which is lemon and ultramarine. More lemon, please. That's quite lemony in there. Doesn't look like grass. I don't know what it's like, a mossy thing. Let's do all of this green up here. Keep it fairly wet in wet, so if I do these slightly bluer trees, I can keep them all loose and out of focus. Wiggle wider at your bottom. Might go a little bit darker. tiny bit of Cadre. Oh, that's a nice colour. Let's try that. What will that do? Got lots of orders to post out today. A couple of deliveries to do after I finish here, which is nice and busy. Am I back? I'm back. But I want to keep these fairly nondescript because it's all about the waterfall really, but a nice tall one up here. Wow. I'd never realised how beautiful it was, Yosemite. I always think of Yellowstone with national parks and stuff, and is Glacier National Park near Yosemite? Such a magical, isn't it? Are they the redwoods? Yeah. But are these big, like wide? Are they the ones that they drive through? They make like a hole in the middle and drive through them and stuff. Oh, doesn't it? Oh. Bit of texture. So we're sort of building it up. As I said, I'm going to be fairly loose today. With this heat wave and the summer holidays and a lot of people back at work, the class numbers are sort of like all over the place. But what's happening is a lot more people are watching it after it. They're not watching live. They're still doing the classes, and some are having which is really fun. Like you can have a binge watch on Netflix or something. They're having a binge watch of art classes, and they're doing weekends worth at the same time, which I absolutely love. That binge watching art classes, because we've racked up quite a few hours now if you think about it on since lockdown started across all of our classes. um, there's a huge amount of hours worth of learning across them all. Just want that to dry a little bit before that's what I want to do. I'll do the water while I think about it. Now that one's actually cadmium yellow with ultramarine to make more of a teal. I'll go a little bit darker with this once I've got it on, which will just be the same colour again but dry. brushed over the top. Let it dry. It's building up slowly. It's looking like a scene, which is what we're after. But as always, it's the darks that make it. I will put the rainbow in if I can. I want that sort of misty air. I might have to do a bit more dry brushing and stuff. Let's do a little bit more. Well, no, exactly. If you're trying to keep up with me, good luck, everyone. But it's good. It's good for your habit, isn't it? Really, I suppose to try every now and again. At least you know you haven't got to, and all is not lost if you don't manage it. I am impressed if for those of you that do try to do it with me. The humidity on Sunday was quite high, so it was really interesting. The paintings weren't drying that quickly. I need to mix up a bit more colour. I've got too much water on my brushes today. I'm trying to overcompensate for the heat, I think, in my mind, and I'm just doing too soggy. See, this would be a good one for credit card rocks, I suppose, but I'm not doing credit card rocks today. Right, so we've got purple now. We need lots of this. Ultramarine. Oh, I'll warn you, Nick, tonight's class is a challenge. That's what everybody else told me on Thursday. A challenge. Challenges are good though, aren't they? It's because it's lots of greens. So this is the cad red and ultramarine, by the way. It's because it's lots of greens and shadow colour to sort of break up the greens and make it feel a little bit more realistic and solid. And I think that's what a lot of people fell into the trap of, that initial panic. Like, oh no, I can't do this. Whereas the ones that have actually done it and showed it, absolutely beautiful stuff. As always, to be honest. But the fear creeps in, doesn't it? And makes people think they're not as good as they really are. So there's quite a lot of this that is dark. So it's sort of finding the darker bits and bringing them out a little bit more. I do love purple. I had my whole bedroom in purple when I was a kid. The ceiling was a really dark purple, and I'd got all of the constellations on it in glow-in-the-dark stars. And there were some stars left over, and my brother put them up actually for me, and there's some stars left over, so he made a badger, because I like badgers. So I had a big glow-in-the-dark constellation of the badger, which isn't a constellation, but it was in my bedroom. Oh, I think I made that a bit too red. No, it's just the cad red and ultramarine, but I've been playing around. I don't want it. It's gone more of an aubergine colour. I'd sent it too much of the red, because obviously cadmium red's quite a strong colour, and I'd got way too much red in it, and I had to do something about it. But I just put a bit more blue in. But brown would have worked to dull it down enough. So how I'm doing these rocks is, for actual more definite rocks, I'm doing the purple at the base of each one and then dry brushing it upwards, so it makes it feel like we've got a bit of 3D, and as the paint runs out on the surface of the paper you get a bit more texture. But I'm finding my dry brush has to be a lot wetter brush than normal because of the weather today. It's drying on the brush super fast. I don't want it to look outlined, but I do want it to feel loose. I want it to feel like I'm actually painting it while I'm there. Which, after Chris saying it was a very long track, I don't think I would. I wouldn't be carrying all my art supplies along there to paint a picture. But I thought this was your kind of thing, Chris. I didn't know you'd been here, but I knew I know mountains and stuff is your thing. It's almost one that would work quite big, isn't it? You know, doing a big version of this, I think, could work quite nicely to give you a bit more scope to get the definition and the detail and everything in it. You can see that purple is definitely our friend when it comes to this. I should really, do you know what? I should just get dioxazine purple or something as a pan, and use that as a shadow colour, since I'm mixing up a colour that's basically dioxazine purple every single time, I need shadow. It would save me a lot of hassle. I need a bit of brown because there's some rock there that I haven't put in. I'm going to, after this class, I'm going downstairs to find out if I know I haven't got any purple in the White Nights. I haven't bought any of that in, but I'm sure I've got a purple in the Mondelez watercolour pans that I will harvest. Save my time. It's really warm in the classroom today. It's not normally warm in this place, but yeah, it's a bit much. I'm sitting right underneath a fan, which isn't helping with my paper drying, but kind of useful. Now there is a big tree, isn't there? On that right hand side, but I don't know whether I'll put him in as such. I don't know. Might even add a bit of gel pen, who knows? If I need it, I'll stick it in. Obviously you'll have far more time than me to do this. Yeah. Sometimes though, I do think with certain watercolours, quicker is better. In that you don't have as much time to realise how much you're messing it up. So you leave it just a little. I'm going to put a little bit of green down here because there is a little. Alright, just got to let Jackie in back in a second. Yosemite Waterfall today.
It's what?
Yosemite Waterfall.
Oh, okay.
Right, see if I can add a bit more purple. I said I want to find the Mondelez purple to save me having to mix all my ultramarine and cadmium red up to do these demos.
Okay. Well, I can go and look for that for you. What have I got to pack up? Is it downstairs?
Yeah, I've only half completed some of those orders. So you need to just double check.
And is some of them local?
Only one.
Okay.
And that's the tub of gesso.
It's hot enough.
It is a bit hot. I want a bit more of a vibrant green down here. Maybe a little bit more green, lighter green on some of that. Now because I've got artist quality lemon yellow, I can just stipple it on some of the bits of the trees and it will give me a slightly lighter highlight. If you haven't got artist quality lemon, you can just add a tiny bit of white gouache to it and it will make it just a little bit more opaque. Technically I should be going even darker with the purple. Do I want to though? It would bring it out a bit more. Bit of purple in the water. See, this weather is annoying because if you use a big brush you end up with too much water, and if you use a small brush it dries it up far too quickly. So there's not really a win-win situation in terms of how much water, how much paint. way too dry. Yeah, I know. That's the weather really is not helping situations in terms of painting. And you can see why in lots of warmer climates watercolour is not the medium of choice, because of just how difficult it is to navigate. I really want to go dark down there and down there. Not a huge amount of reflection or anything, but there are sort of some bits of rocks you can just make out under the water. Or it might end up just looking like reflection. Either way, I don't think it matters about pushing them in. I think I might miss off that tree, or maybe just put a little bit in on the top part rather than the whole area. But you can see how the darks are really bringing it forward, which is what we're after. Bit of burnt sienna. Dark streaks that sort of follow the contours of the rocks. If I do cad yellow and ultramarine quite strongly, I'm going to do just a bit of that tree right at the top. Maybe a little bit of cad red in there just to darken it. Oh, I definitely am putting the rainbow in. I will. Especially if you say it's always there. That, you know, when you went, there was a rainbow. It must be just how the light hits it, mustn't it? Yeah. Oh, beautiful. I did think this morning when I woke up, or maybe I'll do the waterfall in pastel, but I think no, I've left it light enough. Um, so hopefully the transparency of the waterfall will work quite well. Actually, this tree does make the picture work better, adds a bit of depth. I heard about Simon Cowell on the news last night. Broke his back, yeah. Yeah, he fell off his motor. He's got like this motorbike he was trialing on his home in America, and he fell off, broke his back. He's doing all right, but they haven't said about anything other than he's doing all right and he's being well looked after. No, that's lucky then, isn't it? Yes. Do they go faster than you think then? No. I'm not a very bikey person, really. Not motorbikes and that kind of thing. Yeah. No, absolutely. I've got a bike, and it's a nice modern style vintage, modern vintage style rather. But where I live, I can literally drive it down my lane, and that's it. Because otherwise, um, same reason as you, it's I'm on the A361 and the Daventry Road, which is really quite dangerous. There's not even a pavement for most of it, so it's and I don't really want to go on the pavement if I'm honest. So it's really hard to know how to do. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in on my tile. I'm just going to mix three stripes of colour. And where's it going to go? It's going to go here. I'm just going to wet the area where I want my rainbow. Put the red in. I don't want the red to be too pink, but I don't want the red to be too strong either. Put the red on. Yellow. I need to mix a bit of the yellow and blue to make green, so I don't think it'll mix. In fact, I need to do lemon yellow and blue to make a nice green. Be a slightly nicer green than cad yellow. Bit of ultra. And then I want to dab it a little bit. just dabbed it with a bit of kitchen roll. Sort of looks like what it's supposed to be, so I'm not displeased with that. It is probably one that I could fiddle with forever, but I'm not going to. Because what I think with waterfalls, if you spend too long on them and make them feel a little bit too solid, you could run the risk of it starting to look like a paint by numbers waterfall, you know, where it's very, very much contrived, and I don't really want it to be like that. So I reckon I'm done. I'm quite pleased with this actually. It's a nice loose painting, but that darker purple up there just helped just bring it forward a little bit. And try not to do too much with the trees. Keep it all fairly loose and light. Yeah, part of me wants to make more depth in the rocks in the foreground, just to bring it forward. So if I just do a little bit more of a purpley brown colour, because it's all about bringing forward and pushing back. And balance. Might just lift off just a fraction there. Yeah, I think I'm done. The key is to know when to stop. Thank you. It's slightly not my normal style, which is quite nice. I've tried to keep it much more loose and free, because tonight I know it's definitely not loose and free. So I'm planning ahead, so I'm not giving myself a stressful day with it all. So yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm not going to do any more. So I'll tell you what's coming up this week. So tonight is the Formal Gardens of Waddington Manor. I can show you the painting actually. So Friday class, you'll be doing this in about 12 weeks time. It's quite nice. There is a little bit of gouache in there as well. I think it's a lovely picture to practice, but it isn't easy. So that's tonight. Tomorrow afternoon is Yosemite National Park in acrylics, but it'll be the main landscape with all the big rocks and trees and things. Tuesday evening is acrylics, and it's the elephant and calf that I did in pencil. Wednesday afternoon is figure practice, the cricket match, in pencil obviously. Thursday morning is wax resistance graffito in acrylics. We'll be using candle, but I will let that group know what to do in advance, if there is anything needed in advance. Thursday afternoon is a watercolour portrait. Thursday evening is stormy clouds with a wet in wet technique. Friday afternoon is ancient bridge over a river in watercolour, and there is nothing on Saturday or Sunday. And next Monday you've got lavender fields in acrylics, but there won't be any lavender fields that we've done recently in other classes. So lots and lots of different things going on over the next 7 days. So hopefully you'll join me for those. So thank you so much for your company this morning. It's been lovely as ever. Go and enjoy the rest of the sunny, hot, ridiculously hot day out there, whatever you're doing, and behave yourselves, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye everybody. Bye. Thank you.